Oh, Paisley. Hello again for anybody who is watching the replay. I hope the rest of your Friday has gone well. For me, it hasn't been too long since I was talking to you guys before. Hey, Amber. How are you doing? Hey, Gigi. Hey, Jamal. Hey, JJ. So I'm cold, so I'm probably going to end up wrapping myself up in a blanket. Yeah, hi guys, for everyone returning. I debated about hopping on or not, but there's other stuff that's kind of been going on that I have been meaning to talk to you guys about and just haven't. And in addition to that, I wanted to give anybody who just wanted to be a part of a different stream where we can talk about whatever, that this be that. Because I don't usually, the streams that I usually do like this are at night on the weekends. So I know certain people are only available at certain times. So while I had the ability, okay. Am I back? I know I buffered for a minute. I don't know if I'm back. Okay, sorry. I've had this issue before. It's the only downfall to I've learned from live streaming from your cell phone is if you get a phone call, it freezes out. No matter how quickly I try to respond and deny the call so it doesn't interrupt it, it does. So yeah, I am back. This live stream is more like for us to talk about whatever. There's a few other dramas that have been going on that there are channels talking about and stuff like that that I wanted to touch on if you guys were interested in. Also, just to have a live stream where people can ask any kind of questions where it's not so structured that we're talking about a particular situation or a particular scenario. That way everybody can kind of experience what it's like to have me be more engaged in the chat. The last few live streams I've done, when especially earlier today, there were just more people and I wanted to get my points across, so I didn't pay as much attention to the chat as I typically do. So I wanted to give the opportunity for all of my newer subscribers to be able to ask me any questions that you may have, whether that's about me or anything else, just to have a more laid back, not so somewhat structured, because when I'm talking about without a crystal ball or uni or that whole situation, I really want to make sure I'm getting my point across and like my opinions across and about the situations that are going on. So I have noticed that I have neglected the chat a lot during those live streams, and I wanted to kind of get back to my roots with some of my newer subscribers and subscribers who aren't always available during the weekends to have some engagement with me. So that is what we are doing today. Yes, Della, the Charlie D'Amelio stuff. I mean, really, like, I don't understand why some of this stuff is ending up being an issue. I think part of the problem with drama is there's larger subscribers, like larger creators feeding into it, which causes it to be a drama when it maybe wouldn't be anyways, but we can talk about that for sure. Yeah, Kathy, I told you guys, they calm down eventually. You just got finished watching the live. Well, I hope you enjoyed it, April. So the stuff with Charlie, like I understand, I get the sentiment of people maybe being frustrated that such a young influencer has, been able to amass the following she has, but we can't put her down. She has put in the time and the effort to get those subscribers. She is, whether you want to like hate on the fact that they're dance moves and it's the same dance over and over. I'm not on TikTok, so I really don't know the TikTok game other than like the little clips you see here and there floating around on other social medias. But I don't understand why Trisha has made it a big deal. And I don't understand really why James I understand why James is calling out Trisha for kind of being a bully. But I mean, by him calling Trisha out, it is now developed into this large, like, drama, and it's going to perpetuate because we have two very large influencers, being Trisha, well, three really, Trisha, Charlie, and James, all kind of talking about this and like defending each other and arguing against each other. It's just, I have dog hair on my face. I'm sorry. Jamal, you think it was only drama because James Charles was there? Hey Jakes, I just don't understand why it's a big deal. Nobody makes a big deal about PewDiePie's having his following. So are we giving Charlie a hard time because she is young and has a huge following? What is my question for Trisha or anybody who is upset that Charlie has reached this milestone is, why is it an issue? Why are we so upset why are people making a big deal about it? What's the problem? Because she, like I said just a few minutes ago, she has continued to maintain consistent. She has continued to put out her videos, whether you like them or not. It's obviously what some people enjoy. As long as she's not participating in anything that is putting out a bad message for somebody her age, because obviously her influence is going to be a younger generation. She's not freaking Tana Mojo. Where was this energy when Tana was, like, that's where I'm going to go with this. Where was all of this when Tana was young and was openly partying, openly doing drugs, and openly, like, kind of encouraging her young followers to live the lifestyle she was living? Did Trisha call Tana Mojo out during that time? I know since then, I'm pretty sure Trisha has maybe talked crap about Tana, but not to the extent she is doing to Charlie. Why is Charlie being targeted? It just doesn't make sense. And whatever the argument is, why is Trisha, of all people, calling people out? Like, Trisha is one of the most problematic people on the platform, and she is open to admit to that. She really is. So I just don't understand it. It doesn't make sense. And I definitely understand James Charles wanting to defend Charlie. And I saw part of one of his Instagrams where he was saying, he got a large following when he was young. He's really just tried to mentor her to make sure she doesn't make the same kind of mistakes he made, which I think speaks a lot, really. I really think it does. Hopefully, that's really what is going on. But it's only a drama because of who it's dealing with. I think, I get them all talking their opinions and stuff like that out on their platforms. They have that ability to do that. That's one of the benefits of having a large platform, is being able to say whatever you feel and bring awareness to certain situations, or like call out something you don't appreciate. But it wouldn't be a drama if none of us fed into it. If nobody made it to be a drama, it would just be, oh, they have differing opinions about this. I haven't seen everything Trisha has said about Charlie, so, it could be really harsh. Knowing Trisha, there's a chance it is. And if that's the case, then, like I said, I don't blame anybody for defending their friend. We do that in our personal lives all the time. She came off as ungrateful and a brat. Who, Charlie did? Aren't those girls young? Why the need to blast young girls? Jealous, maybe. I mean, there definitely could be a form of jealousy. I don't know why Trisha would be jealous of any influencer. Like, she continues to get people's attention. So I don't know if it is a jealousy thing or not. Yeah, Jakes. She's a troll. She'll admit that she's a troll. She trolls for everything. Trisha, yes, Kathy. Trisha has done some really, really obscene things throughout her YouTube career. Yeah, you make a good point that she has a huge following, and that brings what money. It gets creators to talk about it, good or bad. Creators will put in their taglines to draw views in. Yeah. You didn't like what James Charles said, but you don't like James Charles. He's not your vibe. And I understand that. I'm not a huge fan of James Charles. I never has been. I never have been. I'm way outside of his demographic, I think, to understand him. But I mean, I do understand where he's coming from though. When he made that part of the Instagram is all I saw. I didn't watch all of it. But I mean, that's one of the dramas that has been going on. There's been other stuff going on this platform that other creators are talking about, like the Zoe stuff and how she has been inappropriate and has pretty much defended her stance, and how her mom got involved was really what, when it first broke that it happened, I think my opinions was what most people was like, that's kind of gross. What is going on here? This is weird. And, obviously we all see the issue with the age difference and what's going on there. But what really bothered me was the fact that her mom went on live and she was super upset. Her mom was trying to tell people to not feed into it, not that they don't understand the situation. Why the heck is a mom doing that? Like, you are not helping your daughter's situation at all. She is legally an adult. Like, there literally could be serious consequences. Do I think what actually was shown is going to result in anything? No, not really. But still, like, she's not making the situation better. She made herself look bad. It kind of looks like bad parenting, in my opinion, to, get online and try and talk to these people who are giving your daughter criticism, which she deserves to get. Like, she is doing something really disgusting. It is inappropriate. There's a huge age difference there. He is not fully mature at 13 years old. Your daughter is not even fully mature at 19 years old. Yeah, there is a lot of jealousy that is very evident between creators. I can agree with that sentiment. I just don't understand. This goes to an argument I always have. I don't understand why these creators want to make it a competition to where you have to be jealous of each other. Like, why not make it a platform where we support each other? And if you don't like somebody else or you don't agree with somebody else's content, don't bash them. Don't try and make their content look bad. Just leave it for what it is. Hey, Lil Red, how you doing? I hope you're feeling better. The last I had known, you weren't feeling too great. It was the way he said you and your friends. That is what I don't care for, to be honest. See, and I didn't watch the full clip. I did, and I just didn't pick up on it because I think I remember him like saying you to Trisha and your friends, which who is he insinuating? Like, we can all just speculate as to who he's meaning in that sentence, but like, why bring other people into it? Why, like, he's kind of opening the floodgates. And if he's trying to be a mentor, you're not really showing the best example right now if you're going to feed into Trisha. Although I understand him defending his friend against Trisha, I don't know if it's the best message if he's trying to sit there, I'm just trying to be a mentor, and then participate in drama. I can see the hypocrisy in that for people. A lot of kids are spoiled. Yeah, absolutely. I've had that conversation with my husband recently about, kids within our families and things like that. And like picking out, it had to do with another topic that I don't want to get into, but we were talking about something and I was like, well, we both have people in, our families, children in our families who are super spoiled and have almost entitlement behavior. So it's up to us that if we notice that, to correct it and to bring it to whoever is the parent of that child to work on it or address it or just to be aware of it. Like, that's what I think you should do as families. I'm glad you're doing better. And that could be a few days old, Red. I've been in a whirlwind to catch up with the uni stuff this week. Hey, Emily, we're talking about really anything. There's nothing in particular. Right now, we're kind of talking about the D'Amelio stuff and James Charles. And then we were talking about Zoe. If you want my dogs, they look like they are calm right now. If you watch my last stream, you see them in the background kind of acting all over the place and playing with each other. You have good days and bad days. Yeah, I mean, that's going to happen when you're healing. Kids feel entitled and lack empathy. I mean, some kids do for sure. One of your cousins is so spoiled and he's in his early 20s, refuses to get a job, go to college, or learn to drive because he doesn't have to. I feel like that's becoming more and more prevalent nowadays. You love how KJ Karen'd herself. Which situation are you talking about, Jamal? It was fun watching them in the back. And oh yeah. Oh, my live earlier. Yeah, they were probably more of the entertainment than anything. You're an only child, and you weren't spoiled once you learned Santa wasn't real. I mean, everybody's gonna have their own opinions of that. I don't mind people spoiling their kids when it's necessary, but just teach your children the values and the morals of expensive things. I'm not saying like work your child to earn that, but make sure they're understanding the value in that and that they are lucky to be getting expensive items. If you're giving them expensive items, just make sure you're instilling them with those values so they don't become entitled. Like not every child has to be entitled. Where she CC'd, oh yeah, Jamal, I talked about that in my last live. I don't know if you were there. We talked about that at the end. Yeah, she's a licker. She is. Whiskey's not. He talks more than anything, but if I were to get him to like start talking, it sounds like he's growling and he doesn't stop once it starts. Santa's real, don't say that. 48, he's real, right? I mean, I still like to say I believe in Santa to get good gifts, but I'm not spoiled by any means, and we work for what we get. Your Bichons are snoring. Yeah. I don't remember what live stream it was. It was in one of the ones where I was out here, but not earlier today. I think you guys could hear Whiskey snoring. He snores really loud. That's funny. So I do know that Katie was on live recently, and I didn't watch it, but I saw she was going live, and I'm interested to know if any of you guys were watching it or have watched it, or if she is still live. What's her conversation about? Your dad told your mom he's getting a puppy from a friend when he comes home with 2 Saint Bernards mixed with German Shepherd. They're not, oh, I'm sure they're huge. Little Red, it depends on which dog you're talking about. So this one back here, that's Paisley. She's 5.5. And then Whiskey, you guys can't see right now. He's right in front of me. He's my 2-year-old chocolate lab. What do you want? Your cat snores louder than dogs. That's funny. I don't have any cats. 77 dislikes and 64 likes on her video, Carrie? Or are you referring to something else? Was talking about makeup in the next post. Was she really what kind of makeup is she talking about? You heard it was about the Duggars? Maybe she's talked about Trisha and James Charles beef. Maybe she's just talking about all kinds of stuff. NARS. I wonder what product she's talking about from Whiskey. Stop. You are pushing the laptop. Quit. Come up here. Come on. Get up here. Come on. That's Whiskey. She wanted bland palettes or something. Natasha Denona palette. So she's just trying to go for like the most expensive products that are like commonly known. The live was accidental, was only 10 minutes. It was not a particular topic. She remains positive, and the money that the video of her son raised goes to charity, but I forgot which one. I mean, hasn't she only done one video in regards to her son when it was World Preemie Day, which I know a lot of people have criticisms of her doing that because of like the timing, like always. She talked about the Duggars, not many views. It's mind-boggling how she's blatantly ignoring everything acting. I mean, I don't blame her for acting like nothing's happening. I mean, that's really what she should have been doing in the first place, in my opinion. Like, that would have kept her from continuing to run her mouth and try and say that she wasn't doing the things that she's doing. But at this point, I feel like she's damned if she does and she's damned if she doesn't, right? She's damned if she addresses the fact that she sent these emails to all of these creators trying to bully them, because that's really what she's trying to do. Trying to silence people is her trying to bully them. And CCing her YouTube manager, I think that's going to end up just shooting her in the foot, so to speak, because she admits, a lot of creators who have discussed this admits that she intentionally was sharing the links for other creators to make a video about her, which shows malice intent. So, I mean, I don't think it was in her best interest. And even if she did have that conversation with her YouTube manager, as everybody else says, it is also my opinion that if the YouTube manager's advice was to try and settle it amongst themselves, he did not mean to get included. So she did 3 about her son. I've only seen the 1. How do you accidentally go live as a professional YouTuber? In honesty, you can't accidentally go live. From what I have experienced, it's not possible. If you do it from your phone, you have to select a title, then you have to go down and click next, and then a screen pops up and you have to push go live. It's not like you push one little selection on your screen and you're live. Even when I do it from my laptop, you have to go into your settings, add that you're gonna go live, and kind of go through the same process. And I'm pretty sure if you're using a streaming software, it's the same thing. You can't just accidentally, randomly end up live. It had to be somewhat of her clicking through. Maybe she wasn't intending to go live that second and she had set everything up and was waiting to go live to just push go live. But that would mean that she had the intentions to go live at some point. The dogs are cuddling. I'm sure it's short last. She does not like to be cuddled by people or by Whiskey. She never has liked to be cuddled. What she wants to do is just get pet and get licked and like lick you to death. It's members only. Yeah, I talked about that in my last live. I'm pretty sure she has addressed she is only going to be doing members only. Which again, as I said in my last live, like that's a money grab in my opinion. If you're going to only keep up members only chat, she is enticing people who maybe want to provide any kind of context or any kind of criticism or even be acknowledged. You have to join her membership. And even then, sometimes depending on how many people she gets in her chat, she's not going to address you unless you super chat her as well. So I have issues with that. I talked about it earlier. It's okay. This live isn't meant to be about anything in particular. If you guys have questions about these two, feel free to ask me. I don't mind. This isn't a live where we're specifically talking about anything. It's kind of whatever comes up. Katie privated her live. I mean, isn't she privating all of them because she said she wasn't going to be going live and she continues to do what she says she's not going to do? Yes, my dogs' names are Whiskey and Paisley. You don't understand why there's so much evidence against her behavior. I'm not sure if I understand. Hey, Illuminacy, how are you doing? Illuminacy, I'm probably going to always say that wrong. Do you know you called me on IG? You can call people on IG? You guys are teaching me something new. Hey, Crystal. Hey, Jane. Hey, Beauty Demon. Hey, first everybody I didn't say hi to. You really hope she gets a hold of Tati's attorney and let him know what's going on. I'm pretty sure there are multiple people always keeping him up to date on her behavior. He's pretty active on Twitter, it seems. So I see a lot of people like tagging him and like sharing things with him. So I'm pretty sure he's aware of almost anything that could be criticized in relation to Katie. I'm pretty sure he's being informed of. It wasn't, yeah, she has no title. Okay. It's still, even if you don't enter a title, you still have to go to next and then you still have to click go live. So there's still like 2 or 3 other steps she had to do. So either she was thinking about going live and had everything ready and accidentally clicked the go live button, but she was intending to go. You don't just accidentally end up live. That doesn't happen. You've hit live by mistake too soon, but that's the thing, right? Red, you had everything ready. Like you were intending to go live and it was just an accident of when you started the stream, not that you were intending. You don't accidentally have it. I don't understand that argument. Maybe I'm doing something different. I know I'm behind in the chat, but maybe the way I do my lives is different. I loved your last video. I haven't seen Illuminacy's last video yet. It was mentioned last time too. I need to go watch it. But you're not a dork, Red. Don't call yourself that. I feel like the manager probably said you deal with it because he didn't want to. I mean, from my understanding, that's not something a YouTube manager would get involved with anyways. I was under the understanding they're there more for advice and advocacy on your part as a creator. I may be wrong, but that was my interpretation of what a manager was. A manager is not there to fix your stupid shit that you get yourself into because you wanted to get on your platform and threaten all of these people, look like a dumbass by then apologizing and saying you're not going to do it, and then going back and sending emails. Like, she's making herself look more and more like a moron as this goes on. She continues to allow us to have reasons to say you look stupid and you're not following through with what you said, which is, again, is one of our largest criticisms of you, is that you're a hypocrite. Like, woman, are you kidding me? You can't keep your own shit straight at this point. It's so annoying. The Fox thing also, I think you were supposed to say docs, not Fox. Why would you have the info on someone you don't like? I can't. She didn't accidentally dox Creepshow, and that is very evident in the screenshots that are shown on multiple people's videos at this point. She says oops, and then she later addresses that it is her real name. So she knew that that information was in there. For her to try and like pull that, did she think Uni was gonna cover for her this whole time? And I've already discussed my opinions on Uni and where he's at with all this. You guys can go watch my last live. But like, seriously, stop lying. Like, she's only making herself look worse. In one of her lives, she also explained how you couldn't go live accidentally. Yeah, I mean, you can start your live early on accident, but you can't actually get to the go live page on accident. If I knew how to share my screen, I would show you guys how that works. At least how I've been doing it. And again, maybe I'm doing something wrong. She's going live on IG almost every night. You can buy her a badge. It should just say, give me money. Oh, that's funny, Maria. I think I've caught one of her IG lives once. I don't have notifications for my social medias on my phone. I have a professional job and okay. Sorry, I got another phone call. I don't tell people when I'm going live in my real life, so they never know. I should be back now. But what I was trying to say was I don't have my notifications for any of my social medias on because I have my personal phone with me in my professional job. So if I can't have my personal phone going off nonstop. Not that I get that many notifications, but in the event that something were to happen, I don't want my phone going off nonstop in front of my clients or my coworkers. Yeah, Little Red, I didn't know you had gotten the emails until you had DM'd me about that. I remember that I talked about some things earlier in relation to like some of the things she's done to you, but I didn't address the emails because I don't think I knew that you got emails. I knew she was harassing. That's a harsh term. I don't know if I want to stick to that because I don't know the full context, but I know she was contacting you and like sending people after you specifically. No, Paisley does not talk. My chocolate lab talks more than my husky does. The only time Paisley will talk at all is when we're first coming home because they're crated. So when we first get home and we're going to let them out, whoever gets home first, she will talk to them. And whoever comes home, like if my husband were to walk through the door, she would start talking. Crystal, have you shared them yet? Are you talking? I know you're talking to Red. Are you meaning the emails? You've spent way too much time. Yeah, Frenchie Taylor. A lot of people have. Luminacy, you should have, but is there a method to my bun? No, not really. The only way I had a comment of this too. I just turn my head upside down and instead, you know, when you're putting your hair up, you usually hold your hair like this. Whenever I flip my hair up, I hold my hair like this and I take the scrunchie off of my wrist this way and I do it like twice and I whip my hair around and it just happens to be in a bun like this. I hope that makes sense. Why is Katie doing what she's doing? Only Katie can answer that, but I'm pretty sure it's all calculated at this point. I don't know if you were in my last live stream, but I talked about that near the end. The good bit of it is my opinions about Uni and his interaction and his co-signing of all of this and what I think through watching all of his recent videos. But at the end, it ended up being more about Katie. And I think she's calculated all of this, and I describe why I feel that way. Shelly asks why YouTube hasn't stepped in about Katie. I don't think YouTube is going to step in, to be quite honest. We have to really take a step back and think of these other creators which have been called out for, I'm not gonna lie, worse behavior. What Davi Vanity does is worse behavior than what Katie's doing. Some of Onision's behaviors in the past are worse than what Katie has been doing. These are my opinions, and they both still have access to the platform. So I don't think YouTube is gonna do anything. I think if anything comes from Katie's channel or anything is a result of her, whether it be losing losing her monetization or losing her actual platform, it's going to come from a court. I don't think YouTube is going to do anything about it. Unless something very serious continues to happen and it's evidenced in YouTube, I don't think they're going to step in, to be honest. I wish they would. I think a lot of people wish like some kind of repercussion would come from all of this, but I just don't think it will. That's my personal thought. She said she's going to stay positive like she does every day and stay focused on the content, then rubbed her Natasha Denona palette into your faces. I'm gonna stay positive, but here's my expensive eyeshadow palette that you guys paid for, because in reality, you guys are probably paying for those objects for her because she is like functioning off of donations, off of super chats, off of memberships. That's why it was in her description to help her. Like, that's what she does. It's disgusting behavior. The title is I'm So Late. She did have a title. Okay. You recorded it? Okay. You think it was an early accident? Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of. Illuminacy cracks a lot of people up, Chloe. She's getting a lot of recognition for her parody, as she should. She's putting forth the time and the effort, and her jokes are funny and they're pretty on point. Yes, Jamal, I did hear. I actually saw the tweet from Tati's attorney that he had put out that somebody was trying to hack into his account. I think it was his Instagram account, if I'm remembering correctly, and that he found the timing to be suspicious because there was another beauty commentary channel that had the same experience, and it was insinuated that it was what's her name, Sarah Joe, that it was insinuated it was her channel because the Halo partner had reached out to her and she had done a video about it. I did see that. Uh-oh. I might have skipped a little bit in the chat. I don't know where I was at. Everything dealing with Katie is just, it's captivating because it's so confusing. It's confusing to the everyday person that she is continuing the behavior she is when she has been told by like attorneys to not talk, and like there could be serious repercussions. It's like she doesn't take it seriously. You have a theory. Katie has mentioned how much she likes Tasha K so much that she adopted a few of her editing techniques. Tasha is also involved in a lawsuit with Cardi B. She is emulating Tasha. This Tasha individual was brought up in another live stream of mine. I have never heard of them, but that would be interesting. Katie sent you a cease and desist. Yeah, Katie has sent Little Red the threatening email, I believe is what she was saying. You think YouTube hasn't gotten involved due to her being in litigation? That's an interesting take on it. I really didn't even think that would that matter though, because if anything it might, and this is me just talking out loud with you guys, wouldn't it maybe look worse on YouTube's behalf that she is potentially getting sued by another creator and they allowed her to continue to do the same very damning behavior to other creators, breaking multiple terms of service? Hey, Adrian, we're just talking about whatever. Right now it seems to be, there's talk about Katie. So we're talking about her. The only one who can, yeah, she's even made that sentiment. The only person who can ever cancel somebody is yourself. You can have people making critical videos of you, calling you out for all of your bad behavior. But the only one at the end of the day who is feeding into that stuff and allowing yourself to end up canceled is you. She has said that herself. Yeah, Jake's Baby Cakes says, you mean Onision, and YouTube hasn't canceled him yet. Yeah, he's not even, they're both, both of those creators have some serious issues. If YouTube did anything now, it would look like they are favoring Tati. I don't know if it would. Like, in relation to the Tati case, I can see where maybe they would try to take that argument. But if they are able to show other evidence of how Katie has doxed another creator, how she has threatened multiple creators at this point with legitimate evidence, I don't know how they would be able to argue that YouTube was favoring Katie because of the Tati stuff. Hey, Dr. Cross, how are you? Hey, Scumps, we're just talking about whatever comes up. Yeah, I'm way behind in the chat. I'm trying to catch up. You thought it was a Jake. You thought it was a joke about I'm so late, her being her title. I mean, when I just read that, I was like, what does that mean? Like, was she trying to clickbait again? Because we all know she went through a phase when all this first started breaking of clickbaiting everybody. Katie is talking about Tasha K. She is begging to be famous even if she is dragged because they will hurt her feelings. I need to figure out who this Tasha K individual is. Emily D. Baker is going live. Yeah, I know Emily D. Baker is going live. I think it's in an hour. Let me know if I'm wrong. Uh-oh. I'm not, yeah. A lot of people aren't familiar with her. Yeah, Little Red, I know she's going live. I think it's either right now or in an hour. I can't remember the time difference. Your hubs always calls you when you're watching. I think or hope and pray that YouTube will start to make changes, putting in new rules. Yeah, I've noticed that they are starting to implement new rules and like send out emails to everybody. So maybe certain things will be included in that. My question is, when they enact these rules, like the rules that just came out, is it retroactive? I don't think it is going to be retroactive. It'll be from that point on when the rules were established moving forward. This is how things are going to be handled, or what the rules will be moving forward. YouTube would have to explain why they haven't upheld their terms of service. They are trying to do this as Tati could turn around and sue YouTube. Very interesting. She literally asked for the manager. I mean, you can't even complain about your bad week at work. Can you imagine being that poor dude that's her YouTube manager? I mean, I'm interested to see what happens, if anything happens moving forward. Like, is Creepshow going to keep us updated? Is she going to... It seemed like the last time I heard, the YouTube manager and her had an arranged appointment. Like, is she going to continue to keep us updated about that? Or is she going to stop updating us? I wonder what's going to happen moving forward with that. Yeah, I've heard Twitch has been retroactively reinforcing things. So I wonder if YouTube could. That's interesting. I am in a different time zone than most people, so I don't know what 8 o'clock is for you guys or what time zone that's in. I'm in Mountain Time, so I think she goes live in an hour. The situation with KJ drives me crazy because I had a channel that was just suspended at the basis of stalking and harassing, etc. But I mean, the question is that I have, were you like, what, did you get any warning or did it just happen? Yeah, Little Red. I didn't think she could threaten you guys with the manager. Like, the manager can't really do anything, from my understanding. They're more for support and giving you guidance and maybe providing a different person for you to get in contact with. What is he gonna do? Like, was Katie expecting him to, like, shut down Creepshow's channel? Like, what was her actual thought process in CCing him? Like, to maybe show, like, oh yeah, this is what he told me to do, so I'm gonna do it. And if that's the case, then I think she misunderstood what he meant. You spoke of what may consider conspiracy theory and was suspended, but she is free to stalk and make money. Yeah, was your video about Katie? I have noticed in my time of criticizing Katie that up until the situation with Creepshow, she has primarily targeted smaller channels. I know she had targeted Little Red, and I think that's because Little Red was the most vocal and inclusive in her chats as far as talking about Katie from the beginning. A lot of people have adopted her style of engaging when talking about Katie, and she has always been consistent in providing the information and updates with Katie and other situations around Katie. So people were aware of Little Red's channel and would bring Little Red's channel, I believe, to Katie's attention because they had found themselves there and were listening to the criticisms and them providing the hypocrisies in Katie's behavior. And I think legitimate subscribers of hers were watching Little Red and then going, this is my theory, and then going to Katie and saying, hey, I was on this channel, this is what was said, just so you know, or like trying to pry because the criticisms that was brought up was probably legitimate, and it got them to thinking, like, am I blindly following, and wanted to ask the creator, hoping that the creator would be honest with them. But we know Katie's track record is to not be honest. So if that is what's happening, Katie defended her own actions, and that resulted in some individuals wanting to agree with Katie and kind of target Little Red and the people in her panel at that time. Because during the beginning, I believe Little Red was only having a specific set of people kind of chatting on her panel with her. And as she's grown, she's expanded that and allowed even some of her subscribers at times, when appropriate, to be a part of the panel. I think she unintentionally ended up with a target on her back, and she has consistently been targeted because Little Red's the only channel that has continued from the get-go to always talk about Katie. Since I became aware of Katie and her behaviors as of early summer, I have continued to talk about Katie, but not in depth and not to the degree that Little Red has been able to maintain. She is always providing you guys with the receipts. She brings it up for you guys to see. I don't do that. I don't call out every behavior of Katie's, and I understand why Little Red has dedicated her time to it. She deserves the recognition, but what sucks is when she decided to take on this fact and take on this content, I don't know if she was aware or intend or realized that unfortunately you're going to end up, just like I say with Katie, you're going to end up with people who are not going to agree with you. You're going to end up with Katie having some diehard fans that are going to defend her and support her no matter what. And that has targeted Little Red. And as being a smaller creator, I think it has been hard for her to at times to navigate. And I can't say how much respect I have for her and being able to manage that. And at times when she has been downright criticized, even by her own supporters, whatever your opinion of that issue is, she has maintained enough of her own self-worth and dignity and integrity to get back on her platform and acknowledge, hey, I see where you guys are coming from. I can understand your argument. This is why I did it. Let's move on. That's what being an adult is. That's how you should handle yourself if you find yourself in any kind of situation. That is what I did when I got involved in some dumb shit a few months ago. That is how Katie really should have handled any of this moving forward. Whenever that thing came out that she was getting sued, she should have just acknowledged, I am getting sued. I don't agree with what's in here, but I can't talk about it because of the courts, and left it at that. But instead, she allowed this to be this long drawn out thing. And I continue to say, I think we all, including myself, are feeding into it by continuing to talk about it, by continuing to acknowledge her behaviors, because at this point, it is my opinion, and I said in my last live that it's curated, in my opinion. I think Katie has created this cycle for herself and her content to maintain relevancy to a degree, and I think we are all feeding into it, which is why moving forward, if I talk about her, she is not going to be included in my titles, because I'm not here to just talk about Katie. My content very well shows that, but people are so interested in trying to figure this shit out because we have larger people talk, like larger creators drawing attention to her shit behavior now, that they're clicking on anything and everything labeled Katie. And I don't want the wrong people becoming a part of my community because they think I'm going to do things or say things that I'm not going to do. And, you know, with Little Red, I appreciate the fact that she has maintained in the way she's provided her content, despite the hate that she has gotten, despite, you know, even the praise she has gotten. She maintains pretty straightforward across the board. And I think that it's commendable. And I know I went on my own little rant in appreciation of Little Red for a minute, but I think it is deserved. And you know, with that, Little Red and I DM every once in a while, and you know, there's things that she has said at times that I haven't totally agreed with, and I'm sure it's the same way. But part of being an adult is being able to either talk it out or move past it. If those things can't happen, you are showing your maturity level is far too low to be engaged. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate people who are willing to like listen to all sides. It doesn't mean you have to support all creators. Crystal says, yeah, I'm not sure where you guys are at in the chat. I'm sorry if I'm just hopping in. I think so yours had your email that you received, Red, had other stuff in it. I mean, if I were you, I would read the email or show the email. Why not? Other creators are reading the emails and sharing them. Why not share yours that you got? Is there a reason you don't want to? Thank you, Hillbilly. Yeah, I mean, I just don't understand the behaviors at this point. Beauty Demon says, I feel like KJ was very unpopular in high school and holds on to resentment for it. and sees this is as her popularity now because people know who she is. I mean, it's not the best way to become known, in my opinion. Just saw live here and jumped in for a bit. I'm finding a lot of new channels. Yay, I love Little Red's channel. She seems very cool. Yeah, Little Red's, I mean, almost anybody is if I've ever talked about them as a channel, it's because I support them definitely. And if I don't support them, I explain why. It doesn't mean that, we all cover stuff how we want. And I think that's why all of our channels share a lot of the same followers. Even if we talk about the same thing, we all have our own opinions and our own way of relaying that to our audience. You think Katie isn't comfortable with relinquishing control? There's a lot of people who have that same ideal of her. The email you received was different because it was a direct reply to an email you sent. But you put out that Yeah, but you put out that email or told everybody that you were going to do that. So I guess my question is, are you going to read the email in your live? That's why you enjoy finding the new channels. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's issues with everybody's behavior, right? Everybody has faults, and I mean, I'm not perfect. I've said things here on my channel at times that I have had to apologize for saying. We're human, mistakes happen, but when mistakes continue to happen in patterns form, that's when there's a problem. That's when it is your personality or that you are calculating it, in my opinion. You may, but you're waiting to hear what Salty has to say about it. Salty was okay with other creators reading Creepshow Art's email, so I don't know why it would be an issue for you to discuss your own email. But I understand if you're trying to wait for that. I definitely do. She is trying to silence and deplatform other people, but she's unable to be self-aware enough to realize that the one who should be getting all of the what she is putting out, the one who should be getting what she's putting out there is herself. We all have faults. We're human. It's a matter of if you can, in my opinion, it's a matter of if you can be self-aware or you can self-reflect and understand what you did wrong in this situation and work on becoming better. That's what makes us better people. Who said he was okay with that? I'm not saying anyone said Little Red. What I'm saying is because Truth Sleuth and I think Tipster both had access to the email to read off the emails and even had them on screen. So it's publicly known what was said in those emails because obviously she allowed other creators to see it and to read it. I don't know if it matters who is the one who is addressing the email. Maybe that's where the issue is. I mean, he'll get to you, Little Red. Just do what you think is best in the meantime, though. If you're worried about it for if it's a legal thing that you're worried about, I I don't see where you could where any part of what you do could get you in trouble legally by reading an email that you received. You don't understand why YouTube jumped on KJ yet. She is literally trying to censor. Yeah, I know. She is. But YouTube, it takes so much for them to actually become involved and put a stop to, at times, criminal behavior. And I'm not saying Katie is involved in criminal behavior, but there are other creators who are doing things that are illegal and very questionable and putting YouTube's audience as a whole at risk, and they don't do anything about it. It is more my channel is tiny and she is trying to shut me down constantly while lying, defaming. I know she's done all of that, Little Red. I've seen part of that stuff go down. YouTube doesn't care because they're making clicks, they're making money. I mean, that maybe that's it. I don't know why they wouldn't, though. You still haven't, for the life of you, figured out why deep in it. I understand where you're concerned because you are a smaller platform, and we've had another channel who has a small platform get their platform taken away from them without any explanation. I definitely understand where you may be hesitant in that, but not that I'm trying to force you or convince you to. You have enough people now who understand and who have seen these things happen to you, that the same thing that happened with Deep in a Thought, who didn't even have the fan base that you have right now, or subscribership, or people aware of what was going on with their videos, get their channel back. I think if something like that were to happen to you, which I really don't think it would, but if it did, you have informed enough people, and enough people would be aware of you missing, that who YouTube or wherever would have hell to pay, and they wouldn't be left alone. I think your subscribers would harass YouTube to the point that they would have to address it or give you your channel back. If that makes sense. Like, I don't, if that's your concern, I don't think it really is a concern, to be honest, but I understand your legitimate concern. I do. Maybe Emily D. Baker could give you some advice about the email in the meantime, just a suggestion. I mean, that is a good suggestion if you haven't reached out to her. If you were KJ, I would be freaking out that Salty is being sent all my hateful email. Yeah, I know, right? She just doesn't care. And, you know, I really think she does care. I wonder if this is all just a part of her calculation to just make it seem like she doesn't care and continue to play into this as much as possible. But like I said in my last live, at some point, this could potentially be going on for long periods of time. Katie is going to continue to do these things, in my opinion, to maintain relevancy, because if we're not talking about her, if all of these channels stop talking about her and then people can just see the videos that have been made thus far, they are going to be able to see that there's concern, and that's when she is going to maybe suffer. Until that happens, I don't foresee her channel suffering until we stop feeding into it. However, I do get that it's so fresh and things are ever developing, and that's why a lot of people are continuing to give her the attention and the time like I am right now. But I think it's how we decide to move forward with it in our content is what's going to maybe make the impact, is not allowing like random people to see it in the algorithm. Just let your audience know, if you put a certain thing in your title or whatever, that's going to indicate you're talking about her. That way her name is not as searchable. You think she's going to carry on with bad behavior because she has an audience and feeds the drama? Yeah, money is money. That's exactly where she's at right now. And she's getting more and more money because she continues to put on members only, so people want to be able to address her and they pay for the membership. Oh, did Deep in a Thought have to start over? I thought she got her channel back. I might be wrong in that. I thought she got her channel back, but did she just have to start over? You think didn't get her channel back? Okay. Maybe she didn't. Maybe I'm wrong in my wording that she didn't get her channel back, but she started over. I was under the impression she got her channel back, but I guess I'm wrong in that. Yeah, I agree. Little Red, I think she is worried, and that's why she has resulted to emails because she's realizing that there's people literally screen capturing everything. People, YouTube needs to do something. People in the sue KJ for what she did to them are going to start including YouTube in their lawsuits. I don't know how that kind of stuff works. If YouTube has like particular clauses in place to prevent themselves from being liable for what the creators do. But maybe you're onto something there. I don't know. Deep in a Thought had to start with no subs. Oh, so she did have to start over. That is my bad for saying that then. Then I would encourage anybody who is in the chat to search up Deep in a Thought's channel. And if you enjoy the content, to subscribe to them. They were making some really good videos about everything going on and has gone on. Melanie, this is why you come to our channels, because you refuse to give her a view. And I understand that. I understand people like choosing to not watch her and like get their information from other channels. I understand people doing that, especially when you're trying to not feed into her. Whiskey quit. The last time it was 3 weeks ago. Sent them feedback. Oh, are we talking about her in the clothes thing again? We talked about that earlier. That's weird to me. Yeah, Little Red said she gets away with stuff because she privates or does it on IG. I think that's why so many people have maybe subscribed to her, and I don't know if you've been in my lives when I've talked about it before. I'd be curious to know what your input is as your creator who talks about her. But I believe that it's a revolving door, because you have people who come to your channel and I have people who come to my channel. Almost anybody who provides criticism has people in their chats and on their videos of Katie saying that they unsubscribe from her. But we're not seeing a huge, like, the number of people saying that they're unsubscribing and her actual subscriber count doesn't change enough to me to think that it's really causing an impact. And I think it's because it's like a revolving door. I think people are leaving, but either people are coming or somehow more people are being subscribed to her channel, and it's like evening out, so to speak, because people are interested in knowing what is going on and keeping up to date with stuff, that they're just subscribing for the dumpster fire and not necessarily because they care. How is she getting 58,000 views on Sister Wives and 27,000 views on the Duggars? I talked about this earlier. I know I keep saying that because a lot of this is just being repeated for anybody who was in that other live stream that I did. I know there's a lot of speculation about her, and this includes other creators as well, buying subscribers and viewers. And I don't know the full process, but if you go to a website, which I'm sure some of you guys know, is called socialblade.com. If you go to that website, you can enter in anybody's username on for their YouTube, and you will see the amount of subscribers that they are it's all estimated, the amount of subscribers that they're gaining, the amount of views that they're gaining, and it also has an area at the top for like their estimated monthly and daily, weekly income, monthly income. What is interesting to me, and Katie's is a channel that does this, is the fact that there are random days where it jumps up randomly by like 1,000 or 100. It's weird because if you look at any other comparable channel to theirs, their numbers aren't even like that. It's not a solid number like that. Even if it's like 2 days apart, it's still weird that every time your channel is showing any kind of growth, it's an even 1,000 every time. Like at sometimes it should maybe be 800 or 500. It does always round up to an even number, like 10 or 20 or 30. But for it to consistently always be 1,000, and then either shortly after or the same day that 1,000 is like hits, all of a sudden her views go up, which is weird. So it leaves for speculation for myself and others to think that if she's purchasing subscribers, she is probably purchasing views, which, just so you guys know, if she is doing this or any creator is doing this, it is against terms of service. You're not supposed to buy stuff. You're not supposed to buy subscribers. And YouTube can often tell, from what I've seen in other videos of people talking about this, YouTube can often tell when you're purchasing them whenever they start doing bot purges and they go through, like, an AI goes through your channel and your subscriptions and sees people who maybe subscribe but has never ever engaged. They get kicked from your channel. And at times there's stuff going on with the AIs and their ability to acknowledge this, because that's why people, from my understanding, get unsubscribed even if they don't mean to unsubscribe to a channel. It's because they haven't watched the channel in a while, or they haven't engaged in the channel in a while, and then they get kicked from the channel. And then they just so happen to come across that creator again, and they're like, oh crap, I'm not subscribed anymore. That's why I think people are getting unsubscribed, because people have lives. They're not always able to be on YouTube. You didn't know you can buy views. You can buy anything, from what I've heard. You can buy views, you can buy likes, you can buy engagement, you can buy like likes and comments and things like that. I Googled it and found out how people were doing it. I haven't Googled it. I've seen other creators make videos about it. Receive the new terms of service from YouTube and Insta, and it's about, I know we all got one, but I haven't read it yet, and not in its entirety. The view count also does not match the subscribe. I mean, I don't want to judge her too harshly on that, because there's videos of mine that don't do well at all. Like my nail videos, they hardly get any engagement. I understand why. A lot of people don't care about that content, and those videos happen to be really long. But I mean, if she's consistently putting out the same kind of content and the numbers aren't like even across the board, then that's when it gets a little bit suspicious. Yeah, most people who are genuine in their content, they don't want to fake it, because those subscribers eventually will be kicked from their channel, and then it could eventually show a big loss, which is not appealing to most people. Don't believe anything she says to you. Yeah, I think a lot of people are starting to realize that. Whoops, you need a Snuggie. I probably should have just turned the air up. Yeah, there has been some speculation that the Stoffers have been purchasing engagement on their channel. The Sister Wives ratings have been down. See, I don't watch that. I don't watch reality TV like at all. So I don't I've never watched these like the Duggars and stuff like that. I've never watched those videos. They're not even videos, whatever they are, TV shows. You knew Katie was fascinated with Micah's savviness with the YouTube analytics. I mean, didn't Micah even like brag about how her husband knew how to manipulate the algorithm or how to decode the algorithm to know what was going to be trending? I've talked about this before. I could never be a kind of YouTuber who only talks about what people want me to talk about. I have always and will continue to always provide content on what I want. That's why my channel is all over the place. If I was in this for money or for views or anything like that, which people who are, disagree with anything you say, that especially in relation to the Katie stuff, that's what they try to say you're doing or that you're clout chasing. If that was my intention, I wouldn't have a channel with all of the different kind of content I have. I would try to fit into a niche here on YouTube, and I haven't. I have content from every which corner that you could possibly think in. You only watch the 16 Kids and Counting. Well, I appreciate, April, that you like all of my content. I don't expect people to watch all of my content, to be quite honest. Some of my content is hard for people to digest because of what is talked about, and I understand that. Right, Frenchie? Maybe she should. Tara, there was talks in one of Josh from the Dad Challenge podcast, and one of the videos he did about Micah. It was mentioned that he had found some information out that they were maybe trying to have another child again, and he was providing the criticism that maybe they're going to try and use that as a way to come back online. I don't know if that's what BX was talking about or not. I don't watch his channel anymore. Clout chasing is hilarious to you because she is not famous. I know. Hey Sheila, how are you doing tonight? She's a public figure. I mean, honestly, we're all public figures, and that was one of Uni's defenses, I feel like, was that um trying to make a difference between maybe Katie not being a public figure and some other people, Tati being a public figure. When you sign yourself up to be a creator on any kind of platform, no matter what your following is, you are a creator. Like, you are a public figure. You're putting yourself out as a public figure for people to scrutinize your content. If they don't like it, they have the right to criticize it. I mean, that's the nature of the beast. If you can't handle that as a creator or whatever you want to call yourself, then you shouldn't be starting any kind of page, whether that's a Twitter page, a Facebook page, even businesses at times. Like, don't do it if you can't handle it. I think everybody got the updated terms of service. All spout, no clout. You guys are always super clever. I think I'm clever, but I don't think of things as quickly as you guys do. You're bored as all get out. It's hard for you to take it easy. Well, you have to take care of yourself, though. You got it so many times. I got it once. And I haven't read it thoroughly yet. You feel like Katie by looking her up on Social Blade. I mean, everybody looks on Social Blade. That it's not, they're all, I think you're being funny, but even if you're not, like, Social Blade is a site just to see estimates. It's none of it is spot on. There was an issue with it with how they were reporting a while ago to where now it's all just estimates. KJ is the main income maker currently in her household. So, I mean, could her family potentially be at risk because of the lawsuit? They could be. You go through phases in what you want to watch. I do too. I will go through phases about like what content is piquing my interest. So there's always content that I will watch. Like I will always watch like the beauty gurus that I like. I will always watch some skincare stuff if I'm in a skincare mood. If I sometimes I don't watch that content. I will always watch like drama channels like Nick Snyder, Dustin Daly, Rich Lux, all of them. I enjoy all of their content. I've provided commentary on some of their situations that they've had over the past 6 months. But like other content, like recently, this is a weird one. Recently, I found out I fell down the slime YouTube wormhole. Of course, I knew what slime was, but I didn't realize it is as intricate as it can be. And like, that's a whole interesting world in itself. I mean, we're people, we get entertained by different things at different times. I think everybody's like that. Everybody has their phases of interest. And there's so many things on YouTube. There's something for everybody. Like when that is said, there literally is. Literally, there is a channel with 2 million subscribers that all they do is play with slime. That's crazy to me. I mean, it's interesting. I found myself watching it and falling into the hole of learning about these things, and I have no interest in actually doing slime. The same thing with like crafting channels, which is part of why I decided to make a crafting channel, was because I realized people were interested in watching that stuff, and I'm sitting here doing it anyways. Hey, Gigi. Sheila, there's a whole reason why I don't watch that channel anymore, and I don't want to rehash anything, but I was treated very poorly by him publicly, and that is on my channel. If you're interested, you can look at the video, but I'm not going to. I don't want to bring it up. I don't want to deal with that. Your brother told you today there are websites that you can order jars of farts and his son. Are you kidding me? That's weird. I mean, I've heard of like people jokingly saying that, but I didn't know it was like legitimate. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of funny. There are weird people have weird things that they will pay money for. It's okay, Sheila. It's not a big deal. And if you're not interested in knowing what happened, if it's not a big deal to you, then don't watch it. I'm not trying to coax somebody to feel the way I feel, but if you really want to know, there are videos on my channel. Maybe you should buy some jars. I know, right? You talked about it for 10 minutes. I mean, I think as people, like, I think men are maybe more apt to be accused of finding like flatulence funny, but I mean, I'll admit I find it funny. Anytime I hear like a farting noise, I want to giggle, even if it's in a professional setting. If it's in, like when your ketchup bottle accidentally makes a sound like that, like I giggle. I think most of us do, unless you lack a sense of humor. You went through a pour paint art phase. Are you talking about when they pour the acrylic and then they spin the canvas? Those paintings come out so pretty. And I don't mean this to dog them. I'm sure there's some kind of art to it, but it looks pretty effortless, and I'm kind of been interested to maybe try and do one of my own just to see if I could get it. I have some acrylic paints due to my tumblers and stuff. It's all about timing when it comes to farts. I mean, it can be. Ew, that's the fact that he knows that is like weird. I find that the weird part is that he knows about the moisture of it. Did he research this or something? That's funny, Stacy. Yeah, I think all channels that, I kind of have talked about or have mentioned, we all just want genuine, happy communities. Even if we talk about serious stuff, like we want everybody to be able to speak their mind. You've been wanting to try tumblers and rolling trays. Making tumblers isn't hard. There is like a finesse to it, and it is super time consuming. It takes, like, if you work on a tumbler straight through, it can take up to like 2 days, depending if you're putting decals and stuff like that on it and your method. It really depends on your method that you use. I use the epoxy method for all of mine. I am halfway through a cup because I started it last weekend, and still have half to do. Like, I have to sand it down, I have to put the decal on it, and then I have to re-epoxy it for the final layer. And I haven't had time to do it, so I'm hoping to finish it this weekend. It's not one for like a paying customer, it's for a friend of mine, so there's no rush on it. You've noticed an interest in super filthy shoes that smell. See, I mean, people will buy anything and everything. It's interesting. You found pet farts in a jar on eBay. Excuse me, and the description is hilarious. Carefully captured in a 4-ounce plastic jar. Advised to not open jar, very stinky. That's funny. I mean, couldn't we all technically sell some of these items? What makes people think that you should do it in the first place? Like, let alone people who buy it, but people who are like, oh, I should fart in this jar, or I should try to sell my stinky shoes. Like, how do they go about advertising that? What website did they start to use? I have so many questions. So many questions. Yeah, who buys it? I don't know. Kids need to be back in school. What was I on Facebook or what was I on? I don't know. I gandered through some kind of app recently, and there was like this person saying, it was a female, and she was saying, she was like, everything I sell online to make money. And some of the things she listed was absolutely appalling. Like, she even said like skin, like her skin flakes, like the skin that naturally falls off of you, somehow she collects that and sells it, along with all of her used clothes, like sweaty used clothes and stuff like that. I was really weirded out by it. Spit, it was weird. I was like, what made you think to sell these things, one? And two, how much money are you making from these things? Like, it's very interesting. You don't know if I want the answers. I mean, honestly, I probably don't. But I mean, it's still super interesting. And what's more interesting is we have 106 people taking part of this conversation right now. I think that's more interesting to me than anything. Our conversation has taken a very weird turn, guys. Ew, exactly. It's weird. It's so weird. Helpful suggestions for money making. I mean, yeah, I guess if you can find the right demographic and the right place to sell it, I would think, I would assume a lot of this is dependent on what platform you're using to sell these strange items. I would hope not, Red. The second you admit that that's something that you're doing, I'm disassociating with you altogether. That's just too weird for me to know that somebody is doing that. Obviously, we know like it happens and it's a thing, but if I knew somebody who legitimately was doing that for work, I don't think I could be. I don't know. That's just a little too weird. I did say we can talk about anything, and I hold true to that. We can talk about anything. If she was torn off of YouTube, what would YouTube be liable for what she did? I don't know. I really don't. I don't know how it works when it comes down to stuff like that. Yeah, right? What the heck? Everyone has a price. We'd have to be, yeah. Nah, hey, I'm just saying. Right, Sarah? You took a shower and came back, and this is what you came back to. I mean, like I said, the conversation took a hard turn in a weird direction, but I'm okay with it as long as you guys are okay with it. However, I have been on for like an hour and a half, and I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure Emily D. Baker is going to be going live here soon. And I know Little Red will be going live in a little bit. So does anybody else have any? Yeah, I will try to catch your Red tonight. Your Red. Oh my gosh. I will try to catch your live tonight, Red. I can't promise I will because my husband should be home soon. But I will try my best. We lost 5 people who couldn't hang. They couldn't take the weirdness. That's okay. You guys know I don't care. It's 10 minutes for Emily's. Yeah, I figured hers was coming up. I thought it was at 6 my time. Is Deep in a Thought's channel still Deep in a Thought? Melanie, her channel name, I believe, is Deep in a Thought. I have 2 dislikes. That's funny. Can you make a Post Malone Tumblr? Yeah. It depends really, Amy, on what you're wanting. I don't do sublimation yet. I just got a printer to do that, and I need to practice, but I don't have the sealant bags that you need to be able to laminate. So depending on what you want, I could, if you wanted it like in a black and white picture, or if you wanted it on a solid white, like sparkly tumbler, and then me print a photo of him, I could do that. But if you're interested in any of that, Amy, you can DM our business Instagram, or you can email us what you're interested in, and we will let you know if it's possible and what the price will be if that's something you're interested in. You need some whiskey Cheeto cups for Little Red. I have, April. It's on my second channel. Let me see if I can pull the link without making too much of a... because sometimes I accidentally mess up. Now these, I have forewarned, anytime I have shared the second channel, we're still in the process of learning how, well, my sister-in-law hasn't posted any videos yet, but we're both part of this channel, myself and my sister-in-law, and it's just a crafting channel. And all of our business information, if you're interested in purchasing any kind of items, will be in the description box of the videos. There's only 2 things up right now. I'm working on the 3rd cup. I think I showed it in one of my other lives. I don't have it by me. It's in another room. But you can always DM us there if you're interested in that stuff. This has been a chat all over the place, Crystal. Definitely didn't state anywhere where I thought it would. Right. People people who are just now joining. Well, with all of that said, guys, I am gonna go for the night. If you're not subscribed to Little Red, I would subscribe to her channel. She will be going live later tonight. I don't know what she's gonna be talking about, but if you guys are interested in things Katie related, I would advise subscribing to her if you like this kind of content where they break down her behavior. She runs her stuff different. Oh, I forgot, Little Red, that you were a mod. That's Little Red's channel, that second one. I thought I had taken everybody, no offense to you, but I thought I took everybody's wrench away. I don't care that you still have your wrench. I just thought I had. That is Little Red's link. Feel free to go ahead. You knew it was an accident. I don't care. Like, I'm not trying to make anybody, I know you haven't. And that's not what I mean by it. The only reason I feel weird about people having mods, like me particularly, I talked about this earlier too. I just don't want people to ever feel that they potentially are going to be deleted or their comments are going to be deleted. And I don't care what people put in chat. And if it's something that is an issue, you guys will let me know and I can review it. Other than that, the only benefit I think moderators have for a channel of my size right now is to provide links, which typically, as long as I have my laptop, I can do it myself. The few times I have enacted having the few mods that were on my channel was because I anticipated there was going to be some kickback. No, you don't need mods, and some get super offended over it. Yeah, I've seen that has been, I know you've had some drama with like moderator issues, and I've seen other channels have issues with moderators. And not that I think that would happen. I just don't want to put any responsibility of my channel onto somebody else. And I don't want to have to take the responsibility of someone else maybe offending somebody by deleting their comment or something like that. So I would prefer to just not have them as long as I don't need them. Yeah, the way that you cover your content, Red, I understand why you would need them in certain situations. I think most of the time you don't need them, except for the fact that some people, now that you have enacted that as a part of your content, I feel like people would get offended if you try to not have any mods now. I think once you get to a certain point as a content creator, if you've enacted like if you have used mods, trying to totally take them away causes more bad than good. Yeah, Crystal, I understand. And it's nothing against Little Red or anybody else who has mods. I just, for now, I won't be doing mods. If my channel happens to continue to grow and it gets to a point where I feel it's necessary, then I will at that point. Yeah, I understand that, Red. I definitely do, especially because the way, Red, you do your content, you're not always watching the chat. Typically, I am always paying attention to the chat, except for when I had like 500 people in here, when this stuff with Katie was really going super in the algorithm and people were having massive live streams. Those are the only times I maybe wish I had moderators to engage with the people that I was unable to acknowledge. And at times during those live streams, I didn't even read the chat. But at the same time, I've always been somebody that I'm not going to curate. Not that you guys are curating, but I'm not going to curate, and I am going to let people say whatever they want. And if it ends up being that somebody is offended, I hope they feel comfortable enough to come to me and let me know so I can address it and either block that person or have a conversation with that person. Yeah, I know you can't. And I understand other creators who are under the same circumstances you are. But I know a lot of people, it's getting late for them. I need to call my husband back. It's been like an hour. I'm sure he's worried. And Emily D. Baker is going to be live in just a few minutes. And after that, keep an eye out on Little Red's channel because I'm sure she's going to go live either during or after Emily's stream. So, with all of that being said, I hope you guys have a good day, evening, night, wherever you are, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys.